Hey Cupheads, this is a review of the 2013 Nerf Zombie Strike Sledgefire. You read the title. I'm gonna get this out of the way. This blaster is a very good blaster, although it is not made by Nerf and is discontinued to my knowledge, so it is a little expensive and hard to get. This is my favorite blaster. Also, I just made an intro. You just saw it. This blaster was the one in it. So that's good news. Okay, let's get this out the way. This blaster is amazing because of how fun it is. It is so enjoyable to use. My voice might be different because I'm a little sick, but this is not crazy practical. Obviously, this is a shotgun, and you're going to be able to hit someone from close range no matter what. If you miss with the shotgun, then just quit Nerf. I'm sorry, buddy. But this is a shotgun. One of the only shotgun Nerf sells besides like this, the Rough Cut, the Atlas, the Shell Strike, the Trilogy. There are many more, actually, but this is an amazing blaster. First off, how do you actually use this blaster and what does it do exactly? Okay, this is a shotgun which actually fires these shells. These are not compatible with the Sledgefire and the Trilogy shells. Those are different. So if you put those in this one, it will not work. It fires these shells. The darts go perfectly in it. It fires standard elite darts. You stick them in there and it fires up. Obviously, for someone who doesn't know how guns work, the shell, this plastic part, isn't fired. You don't have to buy another shell if this plastic part isn't fired. It fires the bullets inside the shell, and then you take the shell out. And there's a storage space on the back that comes with 3 shells for you. So how you actually use this blaster is first, load your darts into here. Each shell contains 3 darts. Then what you do is you press this down. You're going to want to hold it down with your thumb, which I find is most comfortable. Hold that down. And then it is break action, so you pull this down. It will give you a little resistance. Do not be scared to put a little force into it, because this is actually how you prime the blaster, the act of pulling it down. I will say be careful, as this hinge right here is very common to be broken, which would be sad for a blaster this nice. But then, once you've broken it down, you put these shells dart head first. Obviously, don't fire them backwards. You load them into here. The front part, it's here, not into here. And then once they're in there, they're going to stick out like a millimeter, but that's okay. You push this back up, or you could snap it back up using momentum, and then you're ready. And you press the trigger, you fire. And then, when you're ready to put in another shell, pull this down. This comes out. This actually pops out a little bit. And as you can see, all the darts have been fired at once. 2 cool things you can do with this blaster to make yourself not lame. 1, instead of pushing it up, snap it up like that. And then when you're ready to fire it, like that, you can actually do this. Oh, well, when it pushes it out, you can kind of like fling the shell out. But I might not recommend doing that because Nerf doesn't sell these shells anymore, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to buy them from eBay and these or other sources, and these are very expensive. Even when people 3D print them, they're still pretty gosh darn expensive. So I would not recommend leaving them scattered across your battlefield. Don't do that. As for where you can get this blaster, I got mine from eBay. It was $60 entire, which is a lot. But this is definitely a fan favorite shotgun. I'm trying to spin it, but you can't see it. This is a fan favorite shotgun of the Nerf community, understandably so. Again, my favorite blaster ever. So fun to use. You'll pick it up, you'll just use it. It's so enjoyable. As for the blaster overview, for like adding attachments and stuff, You only have this one rail on the top, no stock attachment, no barrel attachment. This barrel doesn't come off. I don't know why you would want it to. The stock, if you do not want the stock for whatever reason, all you have to do is unscrew it in these two places right there and right there, and then this whole thing will come off and the gun will still work. So I don't know why you would do that, but that's just helpful. As for the grip and everything, I think, in my opinion, the grip is extremely comfortable. The stock is somewhat long enough to use, as you can see. The stock holds 3 shells, and it is comfortable, as it has this curved part, comfortable hold, and it makes you feel like a cool kid, dare I might say. As for what comes in the blaster, only the gun itself and the shells. However, I will say, a lot of people on sites such as eBay will be selling their old Sledgefires because they lost the shells. You need the shells in order to use this blaster unless you modify it in some way. You can't just pop the bullets in and expect it to work. So that is something to be careful. If you are picking this gun up, this blaster up, make sure, clarify with the person who is selling it that it does come with however many shells you want, more than 0. Unless you already have some shells from a different Sledgefire, then you can just use it on the new one, obviously. But that is something important. You're going to see them for cheap prices. And a lot of times buying the shells and the blaster separately is going to be more than buying one with the shells, from my experience. Now, as for actually how effective this is in a battle, not crazy effective. It will get you at close quarters, but you will not be winning a ton of Nerf wars with this. I recommend something like the Strife or the Alpha Trooper or a reliable Springer, a Flywheeler, something like that, or something not even made by Nerf. But this is not going to win you a crazy amount of battles. It is just so fun to use. I'm sad that they discontinued this because this is an awesome blaster. And here is the firing test. On to my personal opinions about this blaster. I know I've said it 8 times. I know you're tired of hearing it. This is my favorite blaster. It is just so fun. Let me adjust it. So fun to use. You will not regret it if you pick this one up if you're looking for something fun and enjoyable to use. I've used this in Nerf wars, not because I want to win, but because I want to have a good time. And isn't that what Nerf about? The problem is it is extremely expensive for a Nerf gun like this. And you can't just buy it from Nerf's website or Amazon or something like that. You're going to need to get some other sources. That sounded like I'm talking about crime. Get it from some other sources, if you know what I mean. But this is an extremely good blaster. My rating, no hesitation, 10 out of 10. The break action, the fact that it primes when you break it, that's a word. This is just so good. The shells are so fun to use. I wish Nerf would have more shell-fed blasters. Just pushing it in, snapping it up, and firing. It actually has some decent power. The mod ability I heard is pretty good, but I'm not a modder. And the spread is pretty good if you're using elite darts. That is the thing I learned. Because you might not want to use waffle head darts, which are basically the same, but the heads are different, making them more accurate. They're still compatible with all the elite dart things. You might not want to use those like I was, because then the point of a shotgun is for the darts to spread out so you don't hit your opponent. So if you use elite darts, which are notorious for not being very accurate, you could do that pretty easily. But this blaster is not heavy. I have had never any jams at all. This is just such a good blaster. I can't stress enough how much I love this. Please, if you can get it, I would recommend getting it highly. This fun. The only gripe I do have, which is only one, is these things. You have to put them in upright. You can put them in like that, but it kind of falls down. and they fall out really easily, unlike these, which lock into place and can easily be pulled in and out. You have to put them facing dart up, I mean. So when you are loading them in the front, instead of just like doing that like you want to, you have to take them out and then turn them with your fingers and then load them in there, which is a little annoying, but I wouldn't let that persuade you not to buy this. 10 out of 10, final rating. It's not really like many other blasters, so I can't give you an alternative unless you like the Trilogy or Shell Strike, I guess, but the Trilogy isn't good anyways. The Shell Strike isn't really like this. This is just better than a Shell Strike, I'm sorry. But, yep, good, bye.